There we go. Okay. I was like, why is that still there? Welcome, one and all to the very first episode of, you guessed it, Friday Phil. I am your host. You all know who I am, as it's labeled right down there. I am Phil Unfiltered, formerly of the Four Nerds, one of the very prominent members of the Vodka Stream lately. And of course, I run and host my own podcast, The Eternal Night. Thank you all for joining me on this illustrious first episode of Friday Phil. I appreciate it very much for anyone tuning in, or if you're tuning in after the fact, do me a favor, hit like and subscribe. I am a fledgling little YouTube channel on my own. I've got less than 100 subscribers. It'd be exquisite if you would do that and do me that courtesy. I would greatly appreciate it. Hope everyone's doing great today. It's another beautiful Friday. Okay, maybe not so beautiful for some other people, especially someone formerly associated with Marvel Entertainment. We'll probably get into that later. But it's Friday nonetheless. It has been a long week. And the whole point of this show is for me to come every Friday and fill you in on all the news, be it pop culture, be it video games, be it movies, be it television, be it comic books, be it anything and everything that I find interesting and you might find interesting. That's kind of the point, I suppose. But, oh, I've even got the wrong brand back up. God damn it. Hold on. Let me pull up my other background. There we go. Boom. Friday Phil. That's the one I made. It's kind of cute. Only a little cute. But yes, back to the point. This is Friday Phil. With me. My name is Phil. How you doing? How's it going? How you all doing today, huh? Lovely? Lovely day for a drive. It's a Mad Max reference for anyone who's seen that movie. It's Fury Road specifically. But yes, it is Friday, August 16th. Alien Romulus is in theaters. Deadpool and Wolverine is now the #1 R-rated billion-dollar movie of all time. And there's a ton of other shit I'm definitely going to get into. But before we get there, there is some stuff. There's actually one thing I for sure wanted to just address really quick. This was actually, honestly, the first thing that really kind of chapped my ass and saddened me this week was the unfortunate timely passing of one Rachel Lillis, whom, if you grew up in around the same time that I did, meaning like 25 years ago, if you were a kid in the 90s, you probably heard her voice very prominent characters in the Pokemon anime, Misty, the Cerulean State Gym Leader, as well as Team Rocket's Jessie. Rachel Lillis unfortunately passed away on Monday due to her battle with breast cancer. She was 46, a very well-known voice actress in that community of her own right. She will be greatly missed, and I definitely almost shed a tear when I heard and saw this news on Monday. It definitely kind of shook me a little bit. I was very, very saddened by this news. My thoughts and prayers go out to her family, and I hope that, you know, if you're watching Pokemon, if you have children that watch Pokemon, hopefully Misty and Jessie have the same kind of impact on your children that they had on me and everyone else my age, and maybe a little bit older if you're still into Pokemon like I am. I mean, clearly I've got fucking Pokeballs right there. But yeah, see, we got some people in the chat. Mr. Ronan Unchained, I've heard of this guy. Yeah, you might have. You might know me. I'm also on Council Creators every Wednesday, where I am known to just be completely belittling of the TV show Invincible because I do not like the animation there. Just giving you a hard time, man. What's up, dude? Thanks for stopping in. We've got Mwamba85DT. Hey, what's up? How you doing? Hope you're having a great Friday. We got Taladia Plays. How you doing, Chief? Hope everyone's having a great day. Thank you guys for stopping in. But yeah, that news kind of hit me pretty hard on Monday. I was like, wow, I'm starting a brand new live show, and that's one of the first things I saw, and I was like, God damn it, why? Why is the universe so cruel these days? I don't know, but that's just the way the universe has been operating lately, as it seems. But moving on to other things, as I did mention, Deadpool and Wolverine is now the #1 R-rated billion-dollar film of all time. It has usurped the crown from the movie Joker, and I have to wonder, will that make Todd Phillips a little shed a tear, like sad clown? Like, will he try and usurp the crown back with Joker Folie à Deux? I don't know, maybe, but this movie's been out for just under a month, 10 more days, so about 20-ish days. It's been out 20-ish days, and it's already the number one highest grossing R-rated film of all time. That's pretty spectacular. IMO. That is fantastic news. I love that for this movie because this movie deserves it. It's one of the best Marvel movies made in a long while. It's got Deadpool and Wolverine finally sharing the screen together. It's got some of the most illustrious profanity I have ever seen in a superhero comic book film. And god damn it, it's just a really well-made movie. Like Sean Levy, Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman, Emma Corrin, Kevin Feige, everyone involved in that movie, just hats off to you. You guys deserve the $1 billion win for sure. But I will also like to add my initial reaction to this movie, just in general, but also getting $1 billion. Oh my god! Yeah, that's exactly how I reacted to that movie getting, the number one spot in the $1 billion club. That's just awesome. That is exquisitely awesome for all the right reasons. I'm so happy this movie is making the money that it is. Clearly, they're probably going to do another one, but probably not until after Secret Wars. Time will tell, I'm sure. But I am convinced that this is not the last time that neither Ryan Reynolds nor Hugh Jackman will put on the suit and, respectively put on their suits and suit up again with the claws, with the swords, with the funnies. Maybe we'll get cocaine in a sequel. I don't know. Maybe Kevin Feige will loosen up on that. I have no idea. But, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't doubt one bit that those two will be in Secret Wars at all. Like, there's not a doubt in my mind that both of them will have a part to play in Secret Wars, especially Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. Because you don't just put him in that suit once and then call it quits. No. I am firm in the idea that Hugh Jackman is more than likely going to reprise the role once, maybe two more times in that iconic yellow suit. We shall see, most certainly. God damn, this Starbucks is amazing. And it's funny. I heard the word Starbucks as a reference for Starbucks yesterday, and I was like, that sounds ridiculous, but that sounds like it belongs in my vocabulary, so I'm going to start using it now. So yeah, this caramel frappuccino is fucking amazing. It is good and is keeping me awake. It has been a long Friday. I got like 4 hours of sleep last night, and this is helping me get through this day and this stream. So this stream is unofficially sponsored by Starbucks. Thank you. Anyway, we got a chat here. Phil, this is my opinion with certain comic book movies and TV shows. You can't always have them be kid-friendly and family-friendly. You got to put out some mature adult content comic book stuff. Oh, I 100% agree with that. Not everything has to be PG-13, colorful, bright, kid-friendly superhero. Like that, it doesn't need to be like that. If anything, The Boys has proven that is, there is an audience for that. Preacher has proven there is an audience for that. I would even argue Zack Snyder's Justice League has proven there is a audience for that stuff. Hell, even James Gunn has proven there is an audience for that in the way of Suicide Squad and Peacemaker. But yes, on the whole, I don't disagree. I do believe that not every comic book film or TV show has to cater to a younger audience. That absolutely does not have to be the case every single time. But not even so much specifically going into comic book films, but just in terms of adapting source material, that's across the board. I mean, the next thing I'm going to talk about actually isn't quite comic book, but it almost kind of falls into that realm. But it definitely has the stench of, we wanted to use an IP, but we didn't want to respect the IP when it came to adapting it. And this next thing shouldn't come as a surprise to anybody. And that's Borderlands flopping super hard at the box office last week. Is anyone really shocked? I'm not really shocked. I mean, I had my reservations going into this movie. I still haven't seen it yet. I'm probably going to. A friend invited me to see it. He hasn't given me a date yet of when we're going to see it, but I will inevitably see this movie. But the fact that this movie flopped with $8 million in its opening weekend on a $115+ million budget, that kind of sucks. But At the same time, looking at other recent video game adaptations, specifically, you look at something like Mario, you look at, excuse me, that's not the name of the movie, the Super Mario Brothers movie, and Sonic the Hedgehog, and even shows like Fallout. You look at stuff like that, right? And you're like, oh, okay, this is 100% evocative of those games I used to play. Mario is a probably really faithful adaptation to the source material. I would definitely say that. Fallout is a 100% faithful adaptation to that video game franchise. Sonic the Hedgehog, surprisingly, is also just as faithful of an adaptation. We're getting a second Super Mario Brothers movie, everyone. I can't wait. They teased Yoshi at the end of the first movie. That looks incredible. The animation looked crisp. I'm here for it. Sony's even making a Legend of Zelda movie with Wes Ball and Avi Arad. I'm not quite sure how I feel about that last one on the list, but considering I just saw Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes not too long ago, I have higher hopes for Legend of Zelda than I did for Borderlands. Now, when it comes to Borderlands, I love those games. Borderlands 2 is one of my favorite shooters of all time. Arguably my favorite shooter of all time. Just maybe. It might edge out Halo. I'm not 100% sure on that. I'd have to go back and play both of them just to get a real definitive feel for that. But yeah, Borderlands 2, just Borderlands in general. Borderlands 1, 2, pre-sequel, and 3, they're all really great games in their own right. When it came to this movie, and I heard Eli Roth was directing, and I was like, okay. Then they started casting for this movie. Then they cast Kevin Hart as Roland, and I was like, nope, don't like that. Don't like that. Not at all. They cast Cate Blanchett as Lilith. I was like, okay, we'll see what that looks like. They cast Jamie Lee Curtis as Tannis. I was like, that is okay. That's a choice. Ariana Greenblatt as Tiny Tina. And they cast Jack Black as Claptrap. Out of everyone cast in that movie, of the main cast, and forgive me, I forget who's playing Krieg, the psycho bandit, but even that was like in trailers, he sounds just like a real caricature of the character from the video game. Matter of fact, the tonal vocals of the way he delivers his lines wasn't even all that accurate, but you know, that's probably nitpicking at best. But of everyone in that movie that felt right, I would argue probably Ariana Greenblatt and Jack Black were probably the best picks for those cast. And then the trailer came out. This trailer did not do anything for me. I watched it a few times and I came to the conclusion, I was like, okay, this is not going to be a solid, at least by the looks of it anyway. It didn't look like it was going to be a faithful, solid adaptation of the games that I know and I'm familiar with. And I think the big thing here is like the fact that this has like and look, I don't even condone Rotten Tomatoes all that much, if at all. I think it's a garbage aggregate to begin with. But the fact that it has a 4%, Borderlands has a 4% on Rotten Tomatoes. And there was even some reshoots, drama, like Eli Roth wasn't apparently around for the reshoots. I don't know what to expect from this movie when I inevitably see it. I don't particularly, again, have high hopes for it. It doesn't really look, it looks like an expensive fan film, but that's about all I can really give it. It looks like Borderlands to an extent. Does it feel like Borderlands? I'm not sure. I haven't seen the movie. I can't say that for sure. But again, the fact that this movie is PG-13 and the video games are notoriously mature with vulgar language and headshots and, you know, people getting blown to high hell and just massive just displays of just body parts flying everywhere and just crude humor. Why the fuck would you water this down to PG-13 to make it more palpable to a younger audience? Here's the thing. Every single Deadpool movie, minus Deadpool Wolverine, funny enough, at Deadpool 1 and 2, I saw families bringing their children to those movies. Borderlands is a franchise that's been around for over a decade. If you were a kid playing that game 10 years ago, chances are you're probably like a young adult now, meaning you probably could go see this movie if you wanted to. But the fact that so many fans were so vocal online about this movie not looking great, not looking faithful, and the few fans that did see it reiterating that, that just doesn't bode well at all. The fact that this film apparently feels super hollow and just a basic shell of what the potential of Borderlands could be on screen, and Lionsgate just fumbled this bag so hard out the gate. Is anyone really surprised? I'm not that surprised. Matter of fact, my guess is this is exactly what they had. This is exactly what people at Lionsgate probably saw after the opening weekend of Borderlands. This is probably their exact reaction. I have no idea. I can't say for sure, but this is just my guess what their reaction was. Maybe. I don't know. I have no idea. I have absolutely zero clue. But again, just on a straight up just general audience level, this movie didn't sell at all. Like, people were like, nope, we're going to go see Deadpool Wolverine. We're going to go see It Ends With Us. We're going to go see Cuckoo, whatever movie. Oh man. Oh, what is the actress name? Damn it. She's in Euphoria, or they're in Euphoria. Oh my God. Oh, Hunter Schafer. There we go. Yeah. People picked and chose what they wanted to see this past weekend over at the box office. I mean, in fairness, it did beat Harold and the Purple Crayon, so there is that. But that movie is just getting absolutely, those two are probably the biggest punching bags of August, if I had to guess. Of the films that people are punching down on the internet right now, people are either taking one look at Harold and Purple Crayon and beating the snot out of that, and then when they're done doing that, they probably go over to the other side of the ring and they start kicking and, screaming at Borderlands. I don't know. Pretty insane. Pretty insane at how hard Borderlands flopped at the box office. But again, I can't really be surprised. I haven't seen the movie. Again, I will see it soon, I'm sure. But, it is what it is. Like, I feel bad for people who worked on that movie, because obviously you put your blood, sweat, and tears into something. You hope it works out well. And, numbers just don't lie. This movie is gonna, like, probably not make its budget back. It's probably just gonna falter and fall and continue to fall, and it's probably gonna hit streaming very, very soon. The likelihood of a sequel, very unlikely. But, it is what it is. This could pave the way for, like, an animated series, or maybe even the live action series. I don't really know. I feel like when it comes to video game adaptations, it's a case by case basis. Some of this stuff lends itself better to television. Some of this stuff lends itself better to a movie. I mean, case in point, you can make a movie out of Mario. That is proven. You included Donkey Kong, you included Princess Peach, you included Bowser, you had all those beautiful elements of, Mario, and you made a solid Mario movie. Now they're making a second one. They're bringing in Yoshi. Sonic the Hedgehog is getting a fucking trilogy. I don't think that was on anyone's bingo card in terms of video game adaptations, that Sonic was going to be the first one to get a fucking video game trilogy on film. That is wild to me. That is absolutely insane that Sonic the Hedgehog is creeping up on getting a trilogy, of which Keanu Reeves is going to be voicing Shadow the Hedgehog, and I am extremely excited for that. But I am just absolutely flabbergasted at the fact that Sonic the Hedgehog is getting a fucking trilogy. But hey, it's like superhero movies. The more good video game movies you have, the better chances of more video game movies getting made. Let's all pray that Legend of Zelda doesn't suck, right? Like, let's just all collectively get together and, like, get a prayer circle going and just say, Wes Ball, please, make a great Zelda movie. And I think you will, based on Kingdom Planet of the Apes, I've got higher hopes now. And, Miyamoto is directly involved with this. And I hope to God that Avi Arad is just bankrolling it and has absolutely no creative say whatsoever. Because we don't need another Spider-Man 3 or Amazing Spider-Man 2 happening with Legend of Zelda. Let's just not do that, right? Let's absolutely just not do that. That would be exquisite. Please and thank you. But moving on from Le Borderlands, because again, I you know what? Okay, I'm gonna sit here and bitch about Borderlands for another hot minute. When I saw the trailers for this, and I'd seen the trailers for this almost every single last few times I've been to the movies, I saw it in front of almost every movie that I saw. And it just continued to reiterate just how unimpressed and like just unsatisfying as a Borderlands fan it felt to me to see that. I was like, this is just weak sauce. I can't like at all just like Claptrap sounds fine. Tiny Tina's okay, but man, Kevin Hart was completely miscast as Roland. Whatever Kate Blanchett did, she did the best she could with what she had. And Jamie Lee Curtis, as much as I love her, she's the Scream Queen, right? Completely miscast as Tannis. Like, whoever the fuck came in and rewrote whatever Craig Mazin did, you should have just walked out of the room and just given the original draft back, because hot damn, that was just a big just big fat what the fuck. Just absolute big fat what the fuck. Okay, I'm done bitching about Borderlands. I'm done. It's done. We're done. Okay. Moving on. I mentioned Keanu Reeves earlier. Matrix returns to the theater for its 25th anniversary. That is September 19th and September 22nd via, I believe it's either Fathom Events that I saw. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, Fathom Events, I think. I really should be pulling this up. Matter of fact, I think I will pull this up. Hold on, I have it saved. Hold on. TikTok, motherfucker, TikTok. Here we go. All right. Share screen. Let's get this pulled up. Here we go. Okay. Matrix returns to the theaters with exciting 25th anniversary trailer. We celebrate its 25th anniversary. The Matrix will return to theaters on September 19th and September 22nd. Thanks to Fathom Events. Called it. Just kidding. I had a feeling I was right. I just wanted to reiterate and reassure myself I was right. Anyway, it was first released in 1999, has become a cinematic staple consisting of 4 feature films, an animated anthology, several video games. The film prompts viewers to question their reality and follows a computer programmer who comes to the startling realization that he is living in a simulation. Directed by Lana and Lily Wachowski, the movie stars Keanu Reeves, Carrie-Anne Moss, and, of course, Lawrence Fishburne. The Fathom screenings will include an exclusive featurette with Jessica Henwick, who was in Game of Thrones as well as Iron Fist, as she reflects on the cyber thriller's legacy. Henwick is known for portraying Bugs in The Matrix Resurrections, which serves as the latest installment in the franchise. The Matrix 25th anniversary trailer prompts viewers to see the movie while it's still only fiction, referring to the technological advancements of artificial intelligence as seen in the recent years. Well, isn't that funny? That is too funny. And there is another Matrix film in the works from the one and only Mr. Drew Goddard. He is working diligently away on that script to bring that 5th film to life. Now, I have not seen The Matrix in theaters. I was a little young when that film came out initially, so this will be the first time for me that I get to see this film in all of its cinematic glory in a theater for the first time, just like The Phantom Menace earlier this week. I can't wait. Or not, it's not, sorry, not earlier this week. Earlier this year, I saw Phantom Menace for the first time in theaters. Ironically enough, they both came out in 1999. How about that? Anyway, I'm excited. I haven't seen one Matrix film at all in the theater. I should have seen Resurrections in theaters, but it was Spider-Man No Way Home or The Matrix, and money was tight. And I love Spider-Man. So, sorry, Neo. But I will be there. I will be there next month when it comes to seeing it and for its 25th anniversary. I did this for Alien in April for its 45th because, oh my God, I was not going to miss out on seeing one of the greatest horror films of all time on its anniversary. Or rather, I think it was Alien Day. Yeah, it was April 26th, so it was Alien Day. And yeah, when it comes to The Matrix, I will absolutely be seated for that 25th anniversary seeing. Because again, I have not seen this film in the theater, so this will be a first-time experience for me. I've actually had that a lot, at least within like the last 2 years. Like last September, I saw Batman Begins in the theater for the first time. And, you know, in April, I saw Alien. And then like a week later, I saw The Phantom Menace. And now I will be getting able to watch Matrix. And, you know, getting to witness, you know, bullet time and, you know, how those effects came to light and like experiencing that film in the theater is probably going to be a pretty grandiose experience. And I can't wait to see it. It'll be awesome. It'll be exquisitely awesome. That's for damn sure. Now, speaking of Alien, there's a new Alien movie out at the theaters currently as of last night / today, and that is Alien Romulus. I have seen Alien Romulus. My review is up on Multiverse of Color. I stayed up a few hours last night after I got home, just typing away at this. This is an excellent installment into the Alien pantheon. It is a beautifully made movie. It is practical. Matter of fact, I've even got something here that has like if you guys want a good look at the practical effects of this, check this out. This is amazing. I don't know if you guys can see that all that well, but yeah, this right here. Here we go. So they used a straight up animatronic xenomorph for this movie. Or should I say animatronic xenomorphs, because there are multiple xenomorphs in this film. But yeah, this thing, it was horrifying. And it worked. I said this last night on the Sci-Fi Center. This practicality over CGI, depending on the franchise, will either hinder or enhance the experience. And I think with Alien, explicitly like the Alien franchise, practicality every single time. Don't get me wrong, like Ridley Scott did a really great job using a CGI xenomorph in Alien Covenant, but man, this thing fucks. This thing fucks hard. Like seriously, look at that fucking gorgeous xenomorph. How like round of applause for Fede Alvarez for just making this happen, because oh my God, this was fucking immaculate. Absolutely fucking immaculate. But yeah, like I can't stress enough just how great this film is. Practical effects aside, it had a really solid story, really great characters. The narrative surrounding the characters was as simplistic as it was relative enough to this franchise that makes you feel for these characters when they go through said trials and tribulations to get what they need to try and get off the rock they're stuck on. And when they end up on the Romulus spacecraft and all hell breaks loose, oh boy, is it a horror dreams come true. Oh my God. The tension this movie evokes is top tier. The fucking kills in this movie are you will shake in your seat. They are that good. When you see a face hugger latch onto someone's face, it is horrifying. It is terrifying. It makes you squirm. It almost makes you feel like one is about to latch onto your face. God forbid if I had seen this movie in 3D, I just might have pissed my pants. Probably not, but you guys get what I'm going for. But goddamn, Alien Romulus blew me on my ass. This movie was fan-fucking-tastic. 100% all the way through. Just an absolutely spectacular showcase of what this world is capable of. And honestly, I think that has a lot to do with the fact that Fede Alvarez, director of this motion picture, took it back to its fucking roots as a horror movie. Mind you, every other installment since the first one has been kind of a hodgepodge. Like Aliens, for example. It's an action horror thriller, but the action is so enhanced, James Cameron just can't help himself. The next one, Alien 3, David Fincher's first outing as a director. Now, that movie kind of suffered a little bit in the editing bay, thanks to 20th Century, but it was a little more cerebral. It was a little more enclosed. It was a little bit more of kind of a thriller-ish. You could see like the DNA of what David Fincher was going to become with that movie, right? And then you get to Alien Resurrection. You're like, what the fuck is going on here? Couldn't tell you. Then you had AVP and AVP Requiem. You slap a PG-13 on that. Again, same conversation with Borderlands. Why water down something that clearly worked? Didn't make any sense. This don't make no sense. Then you get to Prometheus. Prometheus I like. That's another movie I did not see in the theater, and I should have. I wish I did. But hot fuck, that movie is amazing. I love what Prometheus did for the Alien lore. I love what that movie did as far as a lore perspective. And then you get to Alien Covenant, you're like, Ridley, what are we doing here? Why is David the one experimenting with the black goo? Oh, why he made the eggs? Okay, so clearly the need for a queen alien is no longer, palpable. Maybe somewhere down the line, I guess. But yeah, David made the eggs. Oh, and guess what? This chest burster comes out almost fully formed. It's like, oh, okay, I don't know what we're doing here, but this is just it's an alien movie. That's about where we're at with it. But no, Fede Alvarez took it all the way back to its horror roots. He made a horrifying fucking killer movie in space, and it was great. It was so awesome to see a group of young adults just be like, oh yeah, we have this nifty idea that we think is going to fucking work. And then they get to this place that they think is going to give them their golden goose of what they need. And then that golden goose turns out to be a fucking, whoo, your egg did not, nope, that was not the golden goose you were expecting. It was a horrifying monstrosity is what it was. Now, I don't really want to go too deep into spoilers because literally this movie is out as of today. It's only been out like freshly for 24 hours. I didn't even write any spoilers in my review for it, for crying out loud. But just tonally, I think the reason ultimately why this movie is so much better than a lot of the other predecessors following the first film is because of the fact that it goes back to its horror roots. These things are scary. These things are inherently fucking terrifying. There are people older than me that saw this movie at an even younger age than I was when I saw Terminator Judgment Day for the first time at 6 years old. And they latched on to Alien. They latched on to the Xenomorph in the same way that I latched on to fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger's the T-800. In the same way that kids growing up in the 80s latched on to Jason, Michael Myers, or, people who grew up in the 30s and 40s latched on to Frankenstein and the Wolf Man and the Invisible Man and, all that shit. Like, the Xenomorph has cemented itself in pop culture as a horrifying being of nature. And I love that. And I love that Alien Romulus is a movie that really exemplifies the true evil nature and the fucking just spooky ethereal feeling that these creatures are meant to evoke. Because the thing about Alien Romulus is you see just how fucking bonkers and insane and what lengths the Weyland-Yutani Corporation will go to just to preserve this fucking creature and make sure they can capitalize off of it. That's another thing. That's another thing that I don't think has been strongly consistent in this franchise, is just how fucking wicked evil Weyland-Yutani actually is. And this movie brings that back full circle in a really lovely way. Oh my God. Go see Alien Romulus. This movie is fan-fucking-tastic, as I have said. It has got the 2 thumbs up Phil approval. It is fucking amazing. Oh my God. Please just do yourself a favor. If you are looking for a movie to go see at the theater this weekend, please choose Alien Romulus, because this movie is gonna fucking rock your socks. You might be a little so-so on the ending, but hey, we'll see what happens. I personally like the way the movie ended. I won't get too deep into it, but there's some fucking shit that happens at the end of this movie, and it is fucking wild. And I loved it. I loved every second of this fucking movie. Fede Alvarez ate, Kaylee Spaney ate, Isabella Merced ate, I guess. Pretty much everyone in this cast, they had fucking something beautiful to work with, and they eloquently pulled it off, and it was just magic. It was fucking magic seeing this movie. And the fact that this movie has a fucking $80 million budget, that's insane, but beautiful. I love that this movie only has an $80 million budget. I love that. That mean, and from what I read, like, it's gonna make almost that its opening weekend. I hope it like exceeds that, because then it's just gonna, it can only go up from there, baby. It can only go up from there. Now, I mentioned a bunch of other monsters earlier. I saw this earlier as well, earlier in the week. I don't remember when. I think it might have been Wednesday. Let me check my notes. Tuesday. Tuesday was announced that James Wan is in early talks to direct a Creature of the Black Lagoon remake for Blumhouse. There we go. I don't know why that was so hard. Like, here we go. Here's the Hollywood Reporter article. Let's just go ahead and pull that up right quick. Share screen. James Wan. There we go. All right. James Wan in talks to direct Creature from the Black Lagoon remake. Jack Arnold, who directed many sci-fi classics in the 1950s, helmed the 1954 Universal movie that was released in 3D. Again, this is coming from the Hollywood Reporter from Boris Kitt, August 12th at 10 a.m. James Wan, the creator of Saw and the Conjuring horror franchises, is developing a new take on the classic Universal monster property and is in early talks to direct the feature project. The move comes as Wan and his collaborators presented Universal with a pitch to remake the 1954 classic. A writer will now be hired to write a script working in concert with Wan. This is the first project Wan has attached himself to as director, following his company's production banner Atomic Monster merging with Blumhouse. Wan was underwater for the last few years on the DC superhero movie Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, and has been looking to get back to his horror roots in some way. Wan will act as a producer on Creature of the Black Lagoon, while Atomic Monsters' Michael Clear and Judson Scott serve as executive producers. The black and white movie made the gimmicky and popular 3D format, told of a prehistoric water-breathing humanoid monster and the group of scientists that want to study him. It was among the last of Universal's great monster movies, combining an entrancing mix of horror, tragedy, romance, and introduce audiences to the unique Gill Man, aka the creature who is the last of his kind. As I mentioned earlier, Jack Arnold, who helmed the sci-fi classics such as The Incredible Shrinking Man, directed the movie that featured Julie Adams as the woman who caught the creature's eye. Hollywood has tried to bring back Creature since the 1980s, when John Landis tried to produce an iteration. John Carpenter and even Ivan Reitman developed takes in the 1990s. Gary Ross took it on in the 2000s, intent on following in his father's footsteps. Arthur A. Ross, who co-wrote the script, as did Breck Eisner. More recently, the character was to have been part of Universal Dark Monsters movies in the 2010s, with Will Beall writing the installment. The Dark Universe initiative eventually imploded as the studio focused on a more filmmaker-centric approach. Wan's take is described as being a grounded, modernized retelling that will lean into visceral horror while still paying respect to the original. Executive VP Production Development Jay Polidoro will oversee the project for Universal. Atomic Monster with Blumhouse produced thriller Night Swim earlier this year and is working on a sequel to the horror hit Megan, due out in 2025, and a spinoff called Soulmate, due out in 2026. James Wan is rep by CAA, Stacey Testro International, and Myman Greenspan Fox. So, what does that mean? What exactly does that mean, right? Well, that means that James Wan is headed back to the horror world to tackle an iconic Universal monster. I'm here for James Wan. I love James Wan. I think he's a fantastic director in his own right. I think Saw is one of the most inventive and creative horror films of the last 20 years, 25 years now that I mentioned it, because it's 2001 when that movie came out. I think
in both Aquaman movies, those creatures, the undersea world are just beautiful, horrifying to look at as well. And he clearly has a knack for this shit. I mean, look at what he did with The Conjuring, that scrapped monster he showed, right? Like it was I don't have any you know, you got James Wan working on a Universal monster movie, sign me up. I'll fucking be there day one. Ain't no doubt about that. Ain't no doubt about that at all. I will watch that shit day one, especially if it's Creature from the Black Lagoon. Like that's one movie that's out of my foresight. So maybe I should like boot up Amazon or Max, wherever the fuck was it. 2004. Saw did come out in 2004. You're right. Okay, so technically last 20 years. Thank you. I appreciate that, Daryl. Appreciate it. Yeah, you know, again, James Wan is an accomplished horror film director in his own right. I would even go as far as to say that he is a modern Wes Craven. His inventive, horrifying sensibilities, just spectacular in every sense of the word, you know, because when he did Saw, that movie is literally majorly just a movie about two guys in a fucking bathroom with, you know, the ancillary police trying to track down Jigsaw. Then the twist happens that the fucking dead body in the floor is actually Jigsaw the entire time. What? That was insane. That movie was fucking awesome. James Wan is just really good at fucking just tying narratives together, especially in the horror genre. And then you look at stuff like The Conjuring that he's produced. Whew, get the willies just thinking about it. I actually would not doubt one bit if Patrick Wilson or Vera Farmiga if they wind up in Creature in the Black Lagoon somehow, some way. Would not at all be surprised by that. I welcome it. It seems fitting. So I'm here for it. I wonder if Will Beall will be brought back to write the script, because I believe Will Beall did turn in a draft of Aquaman a long time ago, way back in the day. And he also did a little bit of work on a Justice League movie, and I think he's worked with Wan before. So if he gets brought back, that'd be cool. Not really sure, but, you know, we'll see what happens. I'd imagine, you know, James Wan is a visionary. Whatever he has in his mind, I'm sure he will be more than capable to put it on screen, no doubt. Let's see. Do you think James Wan is up there with Wes Craven, John Carpenter, and Clive Barker? Yes, I do. I 100% believe that James Wan has made a name for himself in that same vein. He is 100% in that same category. He's 100% in that same category as the likes of Wes Craven, John Carpenter, and Clive Barker. He has absolutely cemented himself as one of the best horror filmmakers of our time. I do not doubt that one bit. So to see him go back to something like this is really reassuring. I can't wait. I will be there, as I said earlier, day one. It'll be a day one watch for me, and I absolutely cannot. I fully support this. I am here for this, and I cannot fucking wait at all. But speaking of DC, James Gunn has been teasing a lot of DC stuff over the last few days. That's for damn sure. One thing he definitely teased the other day was, let me go ahead and pull this up. There we go. Okay. What are you teasing here, Mr. Jimmy Guns? What are you teasing? What is he teasing, right? What the fuck is James Gunn teasing this time? How about the Argus logo? That's what that looks like, right? That's exactly what that looks like. Looks like the Argus logo. Pew! Actually, kind of looks like almost when I initially saw this, I thought to myself, is he teasing Green Arrow? And then I started scrolling through the comments. I was like, oh, no. I've seen this before. This is Argus. So this makes total sense because Argus, if I'm not mistaken, will have a large presence in Peacemaker Season 2. I forget. There's some pretty other prominent voice characters coming into that right quick. Let me just double check. Argus and Peacemaker. Let's see. Okay, all I'm just seeing is the fact that everyone's just sharing this. Oh, here we go. Yeah. Tim Meadows. Here we go. Tim Meadows, and there's one other person playing a character tied to Bruce Wayne. But Tim Meadows is playing Agent Langston Fleury? Is that how you say that? Maybe. But he's for sure going to be in it. And yeah, it doesn't shock me at all that, he showed off the logo for Argus, considering Peacemaker Season 2 is well into development, well into shooting, I should say. I believe John Cena also said that he hopes to see Peacemaker Season 2 out in 2025, which wouldn't shock me in the slightest one bit. Considering James Gunn has been hard at work at the three things he has put his fingerprints all over as far as the DCU is concerned, being Creature Commandos, his Superman movie, as well as Peacemaker Season 2, of which he has reiterated he will helm 3 episodes of the second season of Peacemaker, which kind of does and doesn't piggyback off of the first season of Peacemaker, which is kind of strange because I guess it's not canon, but certain things are still canon, but it's not canon. Is it canon? Is it not canon? I don't know. The way I write it off in my head, multiverse. Some things run parallel. Some things are similar. Some things diverge. In this case, majority of things probably happened all the same, minus that Justice League bit at the end. Who the fuck knows? We'll find out next year when Peacemaker Season 2 inevitably drops on Max, right? But, it's a cool logo. I enjoy it. I like Argus. Fine enough. I love Amanda Waller. I think she's a fantastic character. I love Viola Davis as Amanda Waller. I think she's a really solid pick for that. But yeah, this is pretty cool. We're gonna maybe we'll get like Argus official. Like we'll see Argus an office or a building or something. Fuck, I don't know. I mean, that'd be cool, right? I hope. Maybe. We'll see, right? But if I'm not mistaken, there's James Gunn giving his boy Tom King some props for Tom King's newest Black Canary, Best of the Best. That'll be cool. I can't wait to read that. I thought Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow was amazing. So whatever Tom King decides to write, I will probably fucking read it, as long as it's not Batman. There he is teasing Creature Commandos, an old Pepsi can, and his mom's outdoor fridge. We go to replies because he did reply to something else that I do want to talk about. Let's see. Where is it? It was a couple days ago. Where the fuck is it? There we go. Hey, James, is DC Studios going to be at New York Comic Con this year? And James Gunn gives a, Will they? I don't know. It'd be nice, right? It'd be cool. I mean, there wasn't too much of a DC live action presence at San Diego, but if you wanted to showcase some of your DCU stuff at a Comic-Con, I feel like New York would be a prominent choice, a prominent place to display some. Maybe you show off an episode of Creature Commandos. Maybe you give a little bit of tease to Superman. Maybe you show off a little bit of Peacemaker. Maybe you show off the new intro dance number. Fuck, man, I don't know. It'd be cool. It'd be super cool. I mean, little peek behind the curtain. I'm trying to go to New York Comic Con. We'll see if I actually get to go to New York Comic Con this year. I still need to do some stuff behind the curtain in regards to that. But yeah, it would be fun. It would be a fun time. It'd be an absolutely blast if DC Studios had presence at New York Comic Con. But as it stands right now, it's to be determined whether or not DC Studios will be going to San Diego Comic or they weren't at San Diego Comic-Con all that much. I mean, DC was there, but DC Studios did not have much of a presence there. But yeah, between teasing the Argus logo and that, and giving the Creature Commandos a first appearance, some love from J.M. DeMatteis, which apparently he did a typo on this. Actually they came out in 1980, so that's cool. James Gunn is always cool about giving props to artists and creators for their work across comics, so I do appreciate that. Let's see, Phil, I told William they missed out by not promoting both Superman and Joker 2 at Comic-Con. Well, the thing is with this, I will just say that it is a bit of a missed opportunity, but at the same time, Marvel had such a gargantuan presence. I feel like it would have just increased the online pissing match banter between fans of who owned Comic-Con or what the fuck ever and all that shit. I can't really disagree, though, because Superman was like a week or two away from being finished filming. Fantastic Four was literally starting filming, was literally going into production 2 days after Comic-Con. And they still showed us a concept proof of footage for Fantastic Four. If James Gunn really wanted to, he could have, in theory, flown over the weekend from, Georgia or Cleveland. They were in Cleveland, shooting in Cleveland, right? He could have flown, Corin Sweat, Brosnahan, probably Nicholas Hoult, whoever, right? And they could have had some kind of Hall H presence, sure. But I think it's also important to remember Warner Brothers Discovery is fucking broke, right? Like, they have zero monies at the moment. So I'm not sure it was financially in the cards for DC to be at Comic-Con, like DC Studios specifically. But even still, as it stands, it doesn't really cost much for someone to come in and promote some shit. And the fact that James Gunn famously, to his words, edits the film as he goes, minus VFX and all that stuff, there is a strong argument to be made that, yes, you could have brought something of Superman to be shown at Comic-Con a year prior to the movie releasing. And it could have been, exclusive. It could have been sanctioned just to San Diego. But then you kind of run the risk of what happened with all the Marvel stuff, in that it gets leaked. And I don't think James Gunn wants that to happen. Even though, ironically enough, he came to San Diego Comic-Con in 2013, weeks into shooting Guardians of the Galaxy. That leaked online. And it's like, this shit's going to happen one way or the other now. We live in the digital age, right? Like, this shit is inevitably going to make its way on the internet. I was shocked. Actually, okay, let me rewind. I was not shocked to see the Fantastic Four footage get leaked. I was not shocked at all to see that was the first thing that got leaked. But I was more shocked at the fact that there was fake Thunderbolts footage making the rounds for like 2 weeks. And then eventually, after D23, is when the real footage for Thunderbolts started making the rounds. I was like, oh, okay, now we're getting something from this. Almost none of the footage from Captain America Brave New World got leaked, minus the Red Hulk, but that's really the only thing people want to focus on for some fucking reason. And aside from that new suit reveal that Johnny Storm's in, they showed off fucking the same footage we got at Comic-Con. And they, had Michael Giacchino there doing a panel and showcasing the Fantastic Four theme, which I dug. I thought it was great. It sounds amazing. Let's see. Very true. Say what you want about Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios. One thing Kevin Feige has always done is take his time with his Marvel content. It's true. Kevin Feige, for the most part, and everyone else at Marvel Studios, whatever project it may be, tends to take their time when they're not being rushed to make 6, 7, 8 different projects in a calendar year. Thanks, Bob Chapek. But I think that's exactly what James Gunn is trying to do with Superman. He's trying to take his time. And if he's got a plan of when all this shit is going to get rolled out and released and promotional begins for it, let the man do his thing. Let him cook. But if he goes to New York Comic Con and shows off something for Superman, don't be surprised. I won't be. Or hell, even Creature Commandos. Those two projects are the closest in terms of post to where you could, in theory, show something for. Peacemaker Season 2 is kind of a gamble. Lanterns, I could see maybe, and this is a big fucking maybe, but if they really wanted to, they could show off if they have if they have the character cast, mind you, they could, in theory, announce a Green Lantern casting at New York Comic Con, but that's only in the event that all the I's and T's are signed and dotted and everything's A-okay from a contractual standpoint. I don't know. Rumor is the TV series Green Lantern is supposed to be starting filming sometime early next year. We'll see that. Maybe. I don't know. Apparently, like, Kumail Nanjiani is like a fucking 100% confirmed for Booster Gold at this point. Jimmy Guns hasn't said jack squat, but, you know, we've seen Kumail Nanjiani and Peter Safran at a fucking baseball game, so I don't know. We'll see what happens. You can maybe see a score for Superman. I would like to see a score for Superman. I really would, because I hope to God it's not the same kind of, like, and I mean this in a non-disparaging way. I do not want a Superman 78 theme redux. I do not need John Williams' theme done again in 2025. I need something different. I need something hopeful. I need something a little more optimistic. I need something grandiose. And I need something that feels empowering to the character of Superman. That's what I personally want. I need something like that. And I hope to God John Murphy can deliver on that, because that Suicide Squad score is, it's fine when it's not being drowned out by all the fucking needle drops. But, you know, beggars can't be choosers. Anyway, James Gunn is likely going to continue, you know, cryptically teasing anything DC anytime he can and will. And for whatever reason, though, I still don't get the fucking mermaid emoji. I still don't get it at all. That's the one thing where I'm like, what the fuck does that even mean? And I guess it's like some kind of inside joke between him and the Peacemaker cast, which is, okay, that's cool. Good for you, Jimmy. Good for you. But also, just side note real quick, if he does do the, if Tom King, if this book kicks off in the way that Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow kicks off, Black Canary, best of the best, fuck, I hope that means Black Canary gets a fucking spot in the DCU, because I love me some Dinah Lance. I do. Ooh. All right. Anyway, what else we got here? Oh, speaking of more DC, Watchmen Chapter 1 is out digitally as of 3 days ago. This is also something I reviewed on Multiverse of Color. And just to speak on this briefly, it's about as Watchmen as Watchmen gets. You know, if you know the story, you've seen what happens. It's just cut off right there, you know, book 6, in the very beginnings of book 6. I won't exactly say where, but yeah, this is another medium in which Watchmen has been adapted in. I will say that visually, the animation actually looks good. I was hesitant about it, but it actually looks good in this film. It's very well done. It's very brisk. The character models are a little stiff, but the backgrounds and vehicles and all the ancillary stuff looks amazing. It looks great. Genuine good stuff there. Loved what I saw from that standpoint. As I said, you know, I think I said this in my review, like, this was, you know, I think the reason why this gets adapted again and again is because of how impactful and good the story tends to be. And, you know, it's good. It's literally a page to screen adaptation. J. Michael Straczynski knew what the fuck he was doing. He looked at the book, They made that a 2-part movie. That's my guess. I don't doubt one bit that part 2 will likely feature the giant squid at the end and everyone's gonna fucking die. Kind of hoping for that personally. But yeah, part 1 was faithful in that page to screen narrative way. But I do think that if there is a flaw to be had, any flaw at all to be had, it is more than likely, easily, more than likely, without a doubt, the weakest element of the Watchmen animated adaptation that DC has released, DC Animation, is its voice cast. And that's not necessarily like a boo hiss slight at the voice cast. Like, I think Katie Sackhoff is like the best voice role in this movie as Silk Spectre, but everyone else just like it's fine. Like Titus Welliver, he's a good Rorschach, but he goes a little overboard in a few certain cases, and it feels like he's trying really hard to be a Jackie Earle Haley, and it's just not. It just doesn't land. I forget who voices Dr. Manhattan, but man, is that an even more hollow performance. And I don't know if it's intentional. I don't know if there's just, I don't know. Like there was just something missing from that performance specifically that I just didn't really latch on to. I think, Troy Baker as Adrian Veidt. I was like, oh, okay, this is nice. And then Rick D. Wasserman is Edward Blake, the comedian. Like again, like the weakest point of this movie is the voice cast, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. But I feel like the reason it's weak in comparison to the other elements of the film is purely because there have been better versions of these characters adapted in other mediums. Oh, excuse me. Like, case in point, Ozymandias played by Matt Good in the Snyder flick. Like, he does a really great job at being just subtly cynical. You've got Billy Crudup just fucking giving that monotone presence of Dr. Manhattan, but having it feel powerful. Whereas in this movie, it's just kind of hollow and you feel like someone's just reading lines from a page. But like I gave it I think I gave it a 7.5 or an 8 out of 10. Check it out on Multiverse of Color. There's a link below in the description. You should be able to find it there. But yeah, it's very much like the voice cast is fine. I wouldn't say terrible. I won't say great. The voice cast is fine. The animation is excellent. The story is also continues to be just for like the last, 1986. We're coming up on almost fucking 40 years of this movie, right? So make of that what you will. Watchmen is a story I think that works and can be readapted more than once, but at some point you kind of have to just let things be. And I kind of hope that after this 2-parter, we just kind of like, okay, no more. Watchmen's good. It's got a motion comic. It's got a sequel TV series on HBO. We've got the graphic novel. We've got the live action movie from Snyder. Like, we really don't need to go back to this well again. Like, if you're going to do more stuff with Watchmen, fuck, I don't know, make a sequel comic or, do what Tom King did with fucking Rorschach. Do stuff like that. I don't know. All I'm saying is, like, Watchmen Chapter 1, if you are a fan of Watchmen, if Watchmen is definitely your bag of DC, at the very least, check it out. Wait till it hits Max, whatever, It's a solid adaptation. I will say that much. Watchmen Chapter 1 is a solid adaptation. It's out digitally, and it will be out physically August 27th. Now, I believe the last thing, I've actually got 2 things to talk about. They're both Marvel related, so we're going to shift gears here. Kraven the Hunter. Now, look, I know everyone's asking the question, why bother doing a Kraven the Hunter movie without Spider-Man? Look, that is a stronger case to be made for a character like Venom. Because Venom is intrinsically tied to Spider-Man. It is inherently tied to Peter Parker. because the Venom symbiote, the black suit, debuted on Peter Parker's body in Secret Wars. And then there was a whole comic that went over the, the creation, not really the creation, but like the effects of the black suit, and then how that latched on Eddie Brock, and then how Eddie Brock became fucking Venom. Like, there was all that, right? Kraven? I don't necessarily know that you need to introduce Kraven in a Spider-Man movie. And it's funny because when I was growing up, people would always be like, it'd be really cool if this villain got a movie. If we got a movie just catered to this villain, that villain. Hell, fucking 4 or 5 years ago, before Fox got bought by Disney, they almost made a fucking Doctor Doom movie from Noah Hawley. So here's the thing. It's okay for Noah Hawley to potentially helm a Doctor Doom movie. But when Sony, after their giant fiasco that was The Amazing Spider-Man 2, excuse me, when they come to the conclusion and deal that they made with Marvel Studios of, yeah, you guys can do Spider-Man, we'll negotiate on which villains go where. And they took all the big hitters, because, you've got a Venom trilogy coming out, the third film in, fucking October. What's up, Thwip Media? We've got, Venom Last Dance, and that's going to cap off his trilogy, right? There's one big hitter in Venom. You got fucking Morbius, right? There's another big-ish hitter for Spider-Man, right? Then we get Madam Web. That was a movie that happened. It was a movie that people really want to forget about, but they keep fucking talking about. It is what it is. And now we've got Kraven the Hunter. Look, I understand everyone's trepidation and hesitancy with Sony Pictures. Yes, that was my cat that just jumped up there like a lion. I get it. I completely understand having reservations for Sony Pictures handling Spider-Man villains and making solo movies just fucking willy-nilly, no continuity whatsoever. At the same time, when I think about this character specifically, Kraven, Sergei Kravenov, there we go, that's his real name. I think there is a stronger case to be made of he's probably one of the few Spider-Man villains that you could get away with making a solo movie about and not having Spider-Man in it with. Because there is some pretty meaty backstory with this guy. His brother's the Chameleon. His father treated them both like crap growing up. He's a hunter by nature, and they're giving us the Rhino. I'm not saying this is going to be a top-tier superhero cinema bash. Not by any stretch of the imagination, no. But based on this trailer, I will just say that regardless of however hammy the dialogue's probably going to be, regardless of however goofy the story might end up being, thank God this isn't being written by the same people who handled Morbius and Madam Web. It's not. I looked it up. I will say that of the Sony Marvel characters who have gotten their own solo movies, this one feels like the one that fucking, for the first time since Venom, they went, okay, we kind of want to take this one seriously, so we're going to make it R-rated, and we're going to have him fucking murking people left and right with bear traps and knives and fucking just crossbows and the whole nine. We're going to make good on the fact that this guy is a hunter. They've got J.C. Chandor in the director's chair. Now, my buddy Chris Balgo over at Marvel Alliance makes a great point. It looks like a generic action film. I won't dispute that. It does look like a very generic action film. But I will also say and posit that while a lot of action films tend to look and feel generic, I will say that J.C. Chandor, of any director as of late, he may not be up there with Chad Stahelski, but he's fucking close. Triple Frontier is a fucking hell of a great movie. My point is, J.C. Chandor knows how to shoot and frame action and make it look real and make it feel visceral. Now, does this feel like, they picked and pulled from other action films? Abso-fucking-lutely. Yes. But here's the thing. Now we're seeing a guy in a lion's jacket who's notoriously a Spider-Man villain do this. Oh, and what? He gets to fight the fucking Rhino? Apparently that's part of reshoots. I'm fine with that. I have no issue with that. If you went back and retooled your movie to make it feel stronger, more power to you. You are literally making an avid attempt at trying to make your movie more palpable and better for your general audience. And I will give them credit where credit is due. I very well could be walking out of that movie being like, this very well could be the best Sony Marvel movie of the three. Is that bar very high, though? No, not at all. That's the important thing to remember. Has the bar been all that high? Nah, it hasn't. Let's see. We got Thwip Media here with a couple comments. Kraven's probably the most polarizing Sony Marvel movie based on the trailers. You have one group that's praising the action and tone, and then you have another group that fully hates everything about it. Yeah, exactly. And the thing that people hate about it, it goes back to the same thing they had with Venom. Oh, why isn't it tied to Spider-Man? Gee, I don't know. Maybe because Sony probably can't fucking use Spider-Man. At least from that standpoint, that's probably the deal. I don't fucking know. I'm not a fly on that wall. I couldn't tell you what that fucking deal looks like. I have no doubt the action of Kraven will be entertaining. Great, probably not, but it will be enough that people will have a great time. Yes, I agree. I just also think that the release window is a little it's a little questionable because I forget which producer said it, but someone said, "Oh yeah, you're gonna want to take your whole family to see Kraven this Christmas," and I'm like, you really want to take your kids to see a guy biting the noses off people and fucking just murking motherfuckers left and right? Well, okay, sure. It might have been Tim Rothman. You're right, Thwip Media. It very well could have been Tim Rothman. And that's a guy who honestly doesn't understand SFA about superhero movies because he helmed 20th Century Fox for the longest time and was head of Fox while the X-Men movies were being developed. So you can put two and two together in that sense. But yeah, speaking to the trailer itself, I was actually quite surprised. Again, I don't have superbly high hopes at all, but just on within the context of the situation presented to me as it is in terms of Sony adapting who they can with what they have, I honestly feel like this might be and has the potential to be the best one of the bunch of the three this year. We shall see if that is to be the case because Sony has notoriously thrown stuff in a trailer and not utilized it in the final cut. Hopefully JC Chandor had a little more spine in terms of control over the edit of this film. I really hope he did. We'll see. But yeah, I will watch Kraven. I will likely review it. I will likely talk about it here on a future episode of Friday Phil. More than likely. It's either Kraven or Nosferatu for the families this Christmas. Yep, it sure is. One or the other. Oh, you know what they're probably going to go see? Mufasa. It's probably going to be Mufasa. I wouldn't doubt it. I got that trailer. I got the fucking Mufasa trailer in front of Alien Romulus last night. That very well could just be a Disney thing, but I was like, why the fuck are you throwing up a PG movie from $1 billion remake in front of a fucking Alien movie? Like, I got Gladiator 2 in front of Alien Romulus. I got Captain America Brave New World in front of Alien Romulus. There's a couple other things that I got. I got Speak No Evil in front of Alien Romulus. I got a couple good things in front of Alien Romulus. But then I got shit like Mufasa, and I was like, why? And then I was like, Disney. Probably a Disney thing. More than likely a Disney thing. If I had to guess, Disney. You watched Watchmen Chapter 1 last night. I watched it on Tuesday. So, it is what it is. I think Kraven looks... I think Aaron Taylor Johnson's going to be a good Kraven. When that first trailer came out way over a fucking year ago, I was very hesitant of the fact that he did not have a Russian accent. And then this trailer, he has one. And I was like, oh, so he's only selective about when he speaks Russian. I'll take it. I will take it. Maybe that makes me a cheap simp. I don't really know. I don't really care. All I know is there is a Kraven movie. It's happening in December, and I'm probably going to watch it. time will tell if that movie actually gets, any fur on it. Pun intended. Anyway, the last thing I want to touch on before I sign off for the night. Beau DeMayo and Marvel. So this little feud started up last night. I believe Mr. DeMayo decided to, let's see, posted something about, where doesn't he have? It's probably on X. That's probably why I can't see it. But I thought for sure he had a fucking Threads account. There we go. Okay, so it should have. Okay, here we go. Pulling this up now. Okay, Beau DeMayo shared this last night, sometime yesterday. Firstly, I'm so grateful to have worked on X-Men 97, collaborating with some amazingly talented folks. Creating the revival was a dream come true to support fans. Shown true, and the support fans have shown is so touching. However, I feel it pressing for me to speak up in wake of leaving the show. On the next slide is an X-Men fan art I posted on Instagram for Gay Pride in June. On June 13th, Marvel sent a letter notifying me that they'd stripped my season 2 credits due to the post. Sadly, this is the latest in a troubling pattern I suffered through while working on X-Men 97 and Blade. I'll have more to say soon, but must take a step back from social media to find a safer space for me to be out, proud, and nerdy. And there's the image in which he shared. It's Beau DeMayo dressed up like Cyclops. Made for Pride Month. I don't see an issue with this. I'm sure a lot of people on a certain political side probably see an issue with this, but hey, to each their own, right? Now, this was met with response from Marvel, and let me go ahead and pull that up. I believe it was Hollywood Reporter or Deadline that got the skinny on that. Might have been Hollywood Reporter. Let's see. Yep, here we go. We're going to present this. Share screen. Here we go. I'm going to read this verbatim. Marvel fires back over X-Men 97 creator, claims he was stripped of season 2 credits, cites egregious investigation findings. Exclusive. And this is from Aaron Couch and Boris Kitt, who have been notoriously concrete with a lot of their information that they receive, more often than not. Hollywood Reporter, Variety, and Deadline are some of the most reputable websites and trades in the Hollywood business. So here we go. 5 months after Marvel Studios fired X-Men 97 creator Beau DeMayo, for mysterious reasons, the writer claimed Thursday that he no longer will get credit on the second season of the hit Disney Plus show, which he completed work on before his exit. DeMayo made the claim on social media, saying it was part of a troubling pattern he endured while working for Marvel. Marvel shot back soon after, and in a statement to the Hollywood Reporter, gave insight into his firing, saying it was occurred after an internal investigation revealed egregious findings. Above is the, just, reiterated. Here we go. Okay, so above is X-Men fan art I posted on Instagram for Gay Pride in June 3rd. Marvel sent me a letter. DeMayo wrote on X on Thursday, along with an illustration of a shirtless version of himself as the superhero Cyclops. DeMayo, who spent several years at Marvel working on a draft and long gestated Blade feature, as well as on the TV show Moon Knight, added, sadly, this is the latest in a troubling pattern I suffered through while working on X-Men 87 and Blade. Marvel responded by saying that DeMayo's behavior was the cause of his firing and for him losing his credits. Quote, Mr. DeMayo was terminated in March of 2024 following an internal investigation, said a Marvel spokesperson in a statement. Given the egregious nature of the findings, we severed ties with him immediately, and he has no further affiliation with Marvel. Sources say that following his exit, an agreement was reached between the two parties over the issue of tweeting about the show, something that DeMayo had continued to occasionally do. In light of the breaches, his credit for season 2 was removed. While no details of the cause of the termination or the internal reviews have surfaced, sources say it involves sexual misconduct. DeMayo did not immediately return a request for comment. DeMayo was an avid social media user during his tenure at Marvel, sharing X-Men tidbits as well as a shirtless pic of himself and even running a non-explicit OnlyFans account. This all led to the LGBTQ publication Out to declare him, quote, the sexy gay Marvel writer and showrunner to know. On the surface, the notion that Marvel would strip DeMeo of a credit due to a social media post would stretch over credulity. As outside observers note, the gay pride illustration is similar to any number of posts he made while employed at Marvel. And fired Marvel executive Victoria Alonso retained credit on projects she previously worked on following her exit in 2023. But the reveal of an internal investigation points to deeper causes. Despite the bad press around DeMeo's firing, X-Men 97 went on to be a hit with audiences and critics, earning Marvel Studios its first perfect 100% score on Rotten Tomatoes, and garnering DeMeo an Emmy nom for the episode Remember It, Marvel T Season 2 at D23, while the studio tapped Matthew Chauncey to write Season 3, following DeMeo's firing. Until now, DeMeo has remained mostly mum on his firing from Marvel, though in recent days he did note that he had tried and failed to secure a seat at the Emmys from the studio. Concluded DeMeo in his initial X post, "I'll have more to say soon, but to take a step back from social media to find safer space to be out, proud, and nerdy. Stay tuned." After all the initial publication of the article, he reacted to Marvel's statement, writing, "The truth will be revealed after their Disney Plus disaster." Marvel wants to mislead with the alleged contract breaches over tweets. It's tragic it's come to this, but unsurprising. Stay tuned. And on Friday, as of today, veteran attorney Brian Friedman revealed he had taken on DeMeo as a client, and in a statement to THR said, in part, "Having much experience with Disney, the playbook is always the same. Family-friendly on the outside, but secretly attempting to plant illegal, unconscionable items in contracts that silence the truth and stop employees/customers from asserting basic constitutional rights. As we will explain through detailed examples, which we will roll out in detail one by one. Disney's model is very clear and a repetitive illegal pattern." So there's that. That was certainly something. Now, look, he did not deny sexual misconduct. I'm not even saying he did or didn't do it. Okay. I'm not at Disney. I don't fucking know. The facts presented as it stands are he was fired from Marvel. There was an internal investigation. Clearly, something fucking happened that was from a coworker to coworker standpoint, executive producer standpoint. I'm not entirely sure. I don't have all those details. There were some other rumors from other scoopers saying that Bo DeMeo may or may not have groped another individual employee to some extent and made his other employees feel uncomfortable in some fashion by sending them lewd photos of himself topless. I can't really take information like that at face value, especially when it's coming from some dipshit scooper or some nameless Twitter handle who could have literally been created days, weeks, however long ago, and only decided to make a post just about that. In the world of information being in the palm of our hands, it is very easy to take an opportunity to misconstrue a situation to make someone look bad. Now, granted, also, though, apparently, DeMeo has also been let go from other projects. I wouldn't say for similar reasons, but for reasons unknown. We do not know, right? Clearly, there is some kind of, it's either a vendetta or this guy really is just kind of a creep. I don't know. I saw him on the show floor at San Diego. I said, "Thank you for your work on X-Men 97. He was cordial. He was nice to me. But that was one instance, right? I can't really speak too much to the man other than that. So time will tell what is to come from this. Clearly, Bo DeMeo has an attorney. They're going to fight this to some extent. We'll see what happens in the coming days and weeks, if anything at all. This is not the first time the House of Mouse has done some wicked shit like this. This is not the first time they've been accused of, being bigoted in some regard. So, yeah. I don't really have a strong opinion one way or another, but it does really feel like that it's all going to come down to who presents what facts first and what is rebutted with that. So ultimately, this is just a very unfortunate situation because clearly X-Men 97 is like one of the best, if not like the best animated thing of the year. I would argue Cape Crusader is right up there in that same conversation. But like, again, it's a fucking unfortunate situation, straight up. Like, I met him one time at San Diego. It was it was really awesome. I also met Jake Castorena, director of X-Men 97. I met few people who worked on X-Men 97. It was really awesome. Really great TV show. But again, like, it's an unfortunate situation. Not all of the information regarding this situation is present yet. There are things said on the internet against Bo DeMayo, and he's having to defend himself in a way that, honestly, I think any of us would. However, he did not deny any of this misconduct or allegations. All he did say was that he was disappointed with the way Marvel handled his credit dismissal from season 2. I don't know. Okay, we will not know until one or both sides inevitably come to some kind of fucking table and hash this shit out. That's just kind of the shit of it, right? We are all just outsiders looking into a very, I wouldn't say petri dish, but a very like under the dome kind of situation. It's like we're watching like, a scorpion duke it out with a fucking poison moth or something. I don't know, right? Like, and that's just it. I have no idea. I don't know. We don't know. Any other dickhead scooper can claim they know, but they can make up anything. We've seen it happen before. It's just not. Again, I think ultimately, like, my stance on it is, I don't really have enough information either way. The only thing I can say for sure is that clearly DeMayo is lawyering up, and there's going to be some kind of legal action soon, I'd imagine. We'll see what happens. As far as X-Men 97 goes, you could have given the guy a fucking seat at the Emmy, for crying out loud. The Remember It episode was just chef's kiss. Fuck. Credit where credit is due. Come on. But if you let him, if you axe his season 2 credit over that photo, that isn't exactly a good look. But to fire back with, oh, well, we cut him loose because we did an internal investigation and there was some severe misconduct, possibly sexual misconduct. It's like, fuck, dude. If that's the case, you fucked up royally. That shit ain't fucking cool. Bar none, period. End of conversation. That shit ain't fucking cool. In a workplace environment, never is. Not to get too personal about my workplace, but I've witnessed stuff like that, and it's not fucking cool. So, again, we will just have to wait. This is a developing, ongoing thing between Bo DeMayo and Marvel Entertainment, Marvel Studios, what the fuck ever, Marvel, Marvel. There we go. It's an ongoing thing. I'm sure we'll probably hear more as time goes on. So, yeah, that I think that might just do it for this first episode. Yeah, I don't think I got anything else. Yeah, no, nothing at all. But yeah, Deadpool Wolverine's #1 at the box office. Well, sorry, wow, #1 billion-dollar R-rated film of all time. It just might get usurped at the box office by Alien Romulus. So there is that. But I think this is a great spot to, wish my fellow nerds who were in the chat today. Thank you, Thwip Media. Thank you, Daryl. Thank you, Ronan. Thank you, Chainsaw. I saw you pop in. Thank you, Taladia. Thank you, everyone who showed in, dropped by, gave some love. I appreciate it. Again, be sure to like and subscribe. Be sure to share this with your friends. Tell your friends about me. I'm Batman. Just kidding. I'm not Batman. I am Phil, though. I am the unfiltered one, as they tend to call me. But yeah, feel free to follow me on all the sock meds. Feel free to follow me on the social medias, right down there in that corner. Bam, there, that. Blue Sky, Instagram, Threads, Vero. It's all there. All there. Just same thing at Unfiltered. And, catch me soon. Craig and I are going to do another live stream for the Eternal Night here very soon, probably sometime next week or the week after that. We got something cooking up for that. You can catch me on Council Creators every Wednesday, more often than not. You can, again, check out my writing at Multiverse of Color. That should be in the description below as well. Matter of fact, everything should be in the description below, everything I have. So, yeah, it's all there for the most part. But yeah, this has been a lovely first episode of, me, Friday Phil. Welcome. Thank you for getting your Friday Phil with Phil.